Run It Back Nation, what is good? It is your boy DJ Eastwood, Run It Back Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros. Algo Gang, do your thing. Hit the like button on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Turn your notifications on. Watch the Sixers versus Toronto Raptors with us tonight on PlaybackTV. Playback.tv/Run It Back Philly. There's only a couple of games left in the season. That's why we're going to look at the playoff bracket right here. So, yeah, I mean, I would expect all the NBA teams, not all the NBA teams, but the main teams in the Eastern Conference to kind of stay where they're at right now because the standings are looking like, the Sixers are 2.5 ahead of the Cleveland Cavaliers with only 6 games left. They would have to collapse, and Cleveland would have to go on a mega run for that to change. I think the Bucks and the Celtics are going to stay right where they are also. I think they are 3 games apart. Sixers are 2 games behind the Boston Celtics. Something major would have to happen for this to change. So this is what we're looking at. This is the reality of the situation. The Philadelphia 76ers are going to play the Boston Celtics in the second round of the 2023 NBA playoffs. And you tell me in the comments right now what you think is going to happen. Can the Philadelphia 76ers get past the Boston Celtics in the second round of the NBA playoffs this season to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals? Yes or no? I need to know in the comments. So here's the playoff bracket as you see it. The Bucks are going to play the 8th seed. The Celtics are going to play the 7th seed. That's the 2 winners of the NBA play-in tournament. The Cavs and Knicks at 4 and 5. The Sixers and Nets at 3 and 6. That's going to be the first round. It's going to be Sixers versus Nets. It's going to be Cavaliers versus Knicks. It's going to be Bucks and Celtics versus the either Raptors or whoever else is down there. Atlanta Hawks, Miami Heat. Where are the Miami Heat? Miami Heat are down in there too, which, haha, Jimmy Butler, joke's on you, buddy. Went to Miami and never did anything. Should have stayed here. We should have fired Brett Brown. But anyway, the Sixers are going to play the Nets, and then they're going to play the Celtics in the second round. Now, a lot of people were saying that the Sixers should intentionally lose to fall to the 4th seed to try to play the Milwaukee Bucks in the second round and avoid possibly the Celtics until the Eastern Conference Finals. Me personally, I think that's a big, giant pussy move if you do that. I think if you lose on purpose to try to fall to the 4th seed to avoid a certain opponent until a certain round, it's a pussy move, and I'm happy it didn't happen. Main reason I'm happy it didn't happen is that if the Sixers get a cakewalk to the Eastern Conference Finals and then get smacked by the Boston Celtics, there will still be this Doc Rivers excuse that, well, he finally got the Sixers over the hump. He finally got the Sixers to the Eastern Conference Finals. He finally got the Sixers past the second round. So now they have an excuse to keep this guy moving forward for the rest of his 5-year contract, which would have 2 more seasons after this one. And I'm so damn tired of watching Doc Rivers sabotage this basketball team. That's the last thing that I want to happen. That's the last thing. Now, if you look at the game the other night against the Denver Nuggets, no Joel Embiid, no James Harden. The Sixers had a chance to win that game a couple of times. Doc elected to go with Dwayne Dedmon, over Paul Reed twice in that game. In the third quarter, he elected to go Dwayne Dedmon at backup center and then P.J. Tucker at backup center. He put Paul Reed all the way on the back burner in that game. And then the Sixers cut it to 5 points with 1 minute and 30 seconds left, and he never put Tyrese Maxey or Paul Reed back in the game to try to win it. You can't tell me Doc Rivers was trying to win that game in Denver. You can't tell me. So really what I think is Doc Rivers was trying to lose that game. That's when the Cavaliers were within, I think, a game and a half. And then the Cavs started losing also. And now the Cavs did us a favor started losing to kind of put that out of contention. The Sixers really didn't have a chance to fall to the 4th seed. If the Cavs would have started winning when the Sixers were intentionally losing, maybe that would have been the case. I honestly probably think Doc Rivers was trying to do that to avoid the Boston Celtics in the second round, but you didn't get away with it, Doc. Ball don't lie. Anyway, I think that's what happened in the Denver game. Because the very next game, all of a sudden, Joel Embiid goes to the bench. Guess who comes in at backup center? Paul Reed. Third quarter, Joel Embiid goes to the bench. Guess who comes in at backup center? Paul Reed. Dwayne Dedmon, DNP, coach's decision. So why is that? Why would randomly Dwayne Dedmon be the backup center and then PJ Tucker be the backup center in a game against the Denver Nuggets and then not even try to close the gap when you're within 5 points with 1:30 seconds left? And then the other night against the Dallas Mavericks, you go with Paul Reed again. Doc was trying to lose. And the Cavs started losing also. They put it out there. If they would have been able to pull it off and play the Bucks in the second round, the Sixers would have walked to the Eastern Conference Finals. But it would have been a detriment to us in the near future. Now the Sixers, Doc didn't get away with it. They're going to face the Boston Celtics in the second round. Can they beat the Boston Celtics in the second round? Here's what the Boston Celtics did to the Milwaukee Bucks last night. The Boston Celtics beat the Milwaukee Bucks 140-99. 140-99. They beat the Milwaukee Bucks by 41 points. And how is that? How is that? Because the Boston Celtics are just too deep. They have every spot on the floor shored up. They have the perimeter creation in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, 2 perimeter creators, 2 wings, 2 combo wings who can dribble, pass, shoot, finish at the rim. They have point guard depth, Marcus Smart and Malcolm Brogdon. They have interior defense, and everybody's healthy. Robert Williams, Grant Williams, Al Horford. This Boston Celtics team right now is a juggernaut. This Boston Celtics team, who was in the NBA Finals last year, is now better than they were last year. This is an NBA Finals level team. They're strong at every spot. The Milwaukee Bucks have one strategy. The strategy is give Giannis Antetokounmpo the basketball, let him plow his way to the rim, and either get fouled or dunk on everybody, or kick it out to shoot threes. That's their one strategy. They can do that against most NBA teams. They cannot do that against the Boston Celtics. Here's what the Boston Celtics did to Giannis Antetokounmpo last night. Look at the double from Brogdon and Jaylen Brown. He squeezes through there, but they have a second level of defense. Grant Williams right here, who stays on the perimeter. Robert Williams crashes. You see the communication? See the communication? Both of these players don't crash. Grant Williams stays out and looking at the perimeter. Robert Williams crashes. SWAT, get that junk out of here. That's team defense. It's communication. And that's why this Boston Celtics team is probably going to be in the NBA Finals again. Just imagine what they are going to do to the Philadelphia 76ers in the second round. They're going to double and triple team Joel Embiid right like this. He's going to have to kick it out. And the Sixers are going to need elite guard play in the playoffs to overcome this Boston Celtics team in the second round. And that brings me to James Harden. Because I posted a question on Instagram and Twitter yesterday. Are you concerned about the level of play of James Harden moving into the playoffs? There's only 6 games left. James Harden has not looked good recently. Sat out a couple games with a sore Achilles. Came back. Looks like I don't know, man. It looks like he doesn't get off the floor. It looks like his elevation is not there. It looks like his legs are not there in his jump shot and his three-point shot. For the Sixers to have a fighting chance in the second round against the Boston Celtics, they are going to need a high-level James Harden. They also need a high-level Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey needs a high-level James Harden. Tyrese Maxey scores all the points he scores when other players attract the defense and he gets one-on-one situations going downhill or shooting wide open threes. So really, the Sixers playing the Boston Celtics in the second round is going to rely, whether or not they can succeed or not, is going to James Harden's health, James Harden's level of play is going to be the main factor in whether or not the Sixers can advance past the second round, past the Boston Celtics. Joel Embiid, we know what we're getting. MVP. One of the best players in the game right now. One of the best players of all time. Yeah, I said it. One of the best centers to ever do it. Probably the most skilled center I've ever seen in my lifetime. We know what we're getting from him. It's never been a question about Joel Embiid. It's always been, can you put the right team around him? He's a center. Centers need specific players around them. Shaq needed Kobe. Shaq needed Dwayne Wade. If you could triple team Shaquille O'Neal and foul him all game, those teams were done if he didn't have elite players on the perimeter. So when people say Joel Embiid can't lead a team, Joel Embiid can't get a team past the second round, he's not a wing. He's not a point guard. He's a center. If you throw the kitchen sink at him, what's he supposed to do? He has to kick it out. He needs guards to perform on the perimeter. And for 5 years, he had Ben Simmons. And even that 2019 team, Jimmy Butler, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, that spacing is horrible. And that spacing led to a 0-point game against the Toronto Raptors. That spacing led to him being shut down by the Toronto Raptors in the playoffs. Joel Embiid needs elite guard play to be at his best. So you answer me in the comments. Do the Sixers have a chance? With James Harden's level of health right now, they're going to face the Boston Celtics in the second round. I'll give you my prediction right now. They put up a little bit of a fight, but they lose that series 4-2. And another second round loss for the 76ers. Doc Rivers gets fired. I don't even know if James Harden comes back because it's looking like we're going to get a second year in a row in the playoffs where James Harden is not 100% healthy. I'm sorry to be negative, ladies and gentlemen. I know the fanboys with their jerseys and their posters on the walls, and they want to chop it up and talk to their friends and say, my team's better than your team. The Sixers are great. You don't stand a chance. This channel and what I do is I keep it a buck like a dollar store. Big changes are going to happen this offseason, and it's going to start in a couple of weeks when the Sixers play the Boston Celtics in the second round. Y'all have a good day, man. Tune in tonight on Playback TV with us. I'll catch you there. Peace.